Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is the first episode of my advice with Brittany. So this is a series I'm going to do on my channel where you guys write to me and ask me questions about your lives or about just life in general, and I'm going to answer them on camera. Doesn't that sound like a fun time? So a lot of you left comments on my last video. A lot of you Snapchatted me, emailed me, tweeted me. However you want to get a hold of me, please, I am available. You can send me a DM on Instagram, tweet me, send me an email, anything. I will leave all the information somewhere around here to all my social media platforms because I want to answer your guys' questions. So today's topic is, someone wrote to me and said, how do you do long distance relationships? Now, I think I'm an expert on this matter. No, I'm really not. But so, yeah, that is what is going to be the topic of this episode. So if you want to stay tuned for that, then just keep watching. So yeah, I basically dated someone for 5 years, and pretty much from the get-go, we were doing some sort of long distance, and we were doing it for the entire 5-year period on and off. So it started off, he went on like vacation, and it was like 1 week, but we had like just met, and it felt like the end of the world for me. I didn't know what I was gonna do, and he was going to like Mount Kilimanjaro, so it was like no cell phone signal, and like in today's day and age, that is really, really tough. But yeah, I made it through. He called me from the top of the mountain somehow, and all was well in the world. But then what was happening is he did a lot of work in LA and I lived in Toronto. So that was our distance, and that is quite a big distance. You know, I know people who have long distance relationships, but they see each other every weekend, or they can drive to see that person or take a train to see that person. I had to pay about $500 to see my boyfriend at the time. So it was expensive, and you're crossing the border. You have to go on a plane. You know, it's just a big production every single time. So the first time he left, it was like a month. And then he left kind of indefinitely, and it was like 6 months, but I did go to visit, and stuff like that. So we never did more than like 2 months at a time without seeing each other. And then 6 months was like the total, that we've done in like one kind of go. But yeah, it's hard. And just to put this out there, him and I are no longer together, but honestly, it's not because of the distance, and it's not because, long distance relationships can't work. That's not why we broke up. So I'm here to kind of tell you my advice and kind of how to do it, because there are things that you do need to do, and you have to work really, really hard at it. So, okay, so one thing I would say, number one, is talk every single day. That doesn't have to be a phone call or a Skype session, but for me, I'm a very #needy person. Like, I am very needy. I have separation anxiety, number one. So long distance for me is really, really difficult. But yeah, I needed that like constant kind of attention. Even if it was a quick check-in, if it was a quick Snapchat that he would send me, or a quick good morning text, something just to know we're both awake and we're both like thinking of each other. So I would recommend talking every single day, even if it's just like a text. Look at my hair. Even if it's just a text, a Snapchat, anything like that, make sure you talk every day, because it's really easy to kind of just like do your own thing and almost like forget about the other person in a way. Okay, one thing that kept me going. So like I would say that the number one thing is set yourself like a timeline. So for us, we didn't have like a set day when he was coming back from work, which I think a lot of is common, right? Sometimes you go overseas and you're not sure when you'll be able to come back or whatever. So we didn't know when that would happen. So how I dealt with that was I would always make sure we'd plan our visit. So it was like, okay, you're going away for a month, and then I'm coming to visit you on April 15th. I'm staying for a week, and then we're going to do another month, and then you're coming to visit me on May 15th, and I would plan it out. And so it gives you something to look forward to. It gives you an end date. It gives you a goal. So if you are able to plan that, then you can have a countdown. You can write it in your agenda how many days until you see that person. So honestly, that really, really helps. Skype dates. Skype dates. Skype dates seem so cheesy and awkward and weird, but they're key. Like literally. So so we would plan a time because we had a 3-hour time difference, so that's very difficult. So if you have a time difference, like you have to plan dates, and it's weird, but you have to make sure, like, okay, I'm not working this day, you're not working this day, we're gonna sit and we're gonna put Skype on. And legit what we would do, I would get a bottle of wine and he would get a bottle of wine, and this is how nerdy I am. We would buy the same bottle of wine, like the same brand, to make it seem like we were both drinking the same bottle of wine. But honestly, it's these things that keep it going. So buy a bottle of wine. You can either cook dinner together or like both order pizza. And then honestly, share a screen. You can share a screen or watch something at the same time, like with your headphones in or whatever. But watching something and doing something like that together, honestly, makes it feel fun. And you just leave the Skype on for like an hour. Watch Game of Thrones. That's what we would do. We'd share a screen on Skype. We would watch the same thing. My quality would always be so shitty, so you kind of had to give that up. But yeah, we would drink a bottle of wine each. We would eat. We would watch a movie or a TV show or whatever, and then be able to talk about it. So definitely plan those Skype dates. They're really, really helpful for sure. It's also about the little things. So like, we were laughing that we had like a Snapchat streak. So it's like we would see how long we could Snapchat each other, and you get the like flame and the countdown like symbol on Snapchat. So like things like that. We're like, oh, gotta Snapchat him today because we don't want to lose our Snapchat streak. So we had these little kind of like rituals that you can kind of think about throughout the day. Oh my God, this is so weird and embarrassing, but like I would legitimately write down things I would want to tell him. So that is another recommendation, because like if you're not talking the entire day, or maybe you're used to talking all the time, like if someone can't be on their phone, whatever, I would write down, be like, you know, Stacy's a bitch, and like, can you believe she did this or whatever. I don't even really know anyone named Stacy. Oh no, I do. Anyways, I would write down things that happened to me that day just to like remind myself. And it seems so silly, but sometimes after a long day, you'd get on Skype or you'd get on your phone call and you'd be like, what happened today? And it's like, I don't know. How's your day? Fine. And then you're kind of like, cool. Like, what do we, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, you want to be able to talk about things and keep that phone call exciting, and like, because phone calls can kind of be boring, or Skype sessions can kind of be boring. So keep that, interesting factor going by having things to talk about. Okay, another thing was like we would start a show together. While you're together, start a show. Start season 1, episode 1, and then make sure, like, say, like every week we gotta watch the new episode. And if it's on TV, that's even better, because then you're both doing something that's far apart but together. That's so cheesy, but I love it. So it's like, okay, Sunday night, watch Game of Thrones. Maybe you can't share a screen or whatever, but at least you're both watching it, and then you can text each other, Jon Snow died or whatever, right? So you can just text these things to each other, and you can kind of like pretend like you're watching it together. So you kind of have a similar thing that you're doing to stay connected and stay like you're, you know, feel like you're in the same place or on the same page or whatever. My last piece of advice would be to live your own life. It took me 5 years to figure out long distance relationships. And I feel like if I was with a different person doing long distance, it would be different. Obviously, everyone's different. But it really sent me into a tailspin. Now we're going to get personal here. When he first left, because like I said, I do have separation anxiety, and I actually have really bad anxiety just in general. So having him gone was really, really hard for me. And there were so many times where I would just kind of sit at home and cry and miss him, or there'd be times where like I wouldn't go out with my friends because I wanted to sit at home and wait for his call. And that is ultimately not healthy for yourself and not healthy for the relationship. I started going a little bit crazy. I started, worrying that he was off doing things with other girls. I started, honestly, no shame in my game, I started checking his Facebook and things like that, because I just got so in my head and so paranoid and worried, because I pretty much was just sitting around waiting for him to come home. And that is just really probably the worst thing you could do. So what kind of helped me years in was like, I had a job that I really, really liked and kind of started it when he left again. And so I made sure it's like I stayed after work every day and hung out with people. I'd have a drink after work with my colleagues. I would like just kind of butt in and be like, hey, what are you guys doing this weekend? Because weekends seem so daunting if your significant other is not there. You're like, what am I going to do all weekend? So make plans with your friends, make plans with your girlfriends, stay after work and kind of just like go with the flow and build up this life for yourself so that you have other things to distract you. And then so even when that person comes back, don't ditch all these things, still do these things with that person. So just like, it's honestly just more of a healthy, full balance. And lean on your girlfriends. Like my girlfriends knew what I was going through. They knew that I'd be in these like months without my ex. So they were so helpful, and we would have like pajama parties and wine nights and movie nights and all these things. So they really help. So keep your girlfriends close, if you're close to your family, let them help you, but ultimately learn how to be okay on your own so that you're not sitting at home waiting for that phone to ring, because I was that girl and I got there eventually, but it was really detrimental to myself and to the relationship because I started going a little bit crazy. Crazy ex-girlfriend right here. So yeah, that is kind of my video on a couple tips about long distance relationships. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Leave down below any tips you guys have for long distance relationships, because I'm sure other people reading the comments would like to know these tips as well. And yes, leave comments down below of something else you would like me to talk about or some advice you would like me to discuss in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye guys. As always, a video will pop up right here. Make sure you click it so that you can keep watching all of my videos. And don't forget to click my face right here to subscribe so you can stay up to date. I post all of the time super funny videos. You will love them, I promise. Bye, guys.